Hi there, Planty here. Another Pips and Pints, and this one is a little bit different because we might be messing around with the format. We're on the road, and this today is at the Oliver Cromwell Pub in St Ives with a really interesting trader, female trader. We haven't had one of those on before, and she's actually a landlady at the same time. So we've got Gemma. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Gemma Ovenden. That's my pub, Oliver Cromwell.
And you're obviously an alpha trader, and we're going to get into all that in a minute. How long have you been trading for?
I would say I started probably about 3-4 years ago, like just learning the basics. Like I went in with absolutely no knowledge.
Right. So how did you come across trading then?
So the first time I ever looked at a chart was actually, maybe it was in lockdown. It was at the beginning of lockdown, and my friend was like, I'm going to put loads of money in Tesla. And we were looking at it. I don't know if I should say this on film, but we got government grants in lockdown. We got 25k, and I put it all in Tesla.
At the bottom, hopefully.
And I made a 5k, and I took it out, and I was like, wow, this is great. Like,
superb. No one listened there. That's brilliant.
And then I put it back into the account, and all was good. But that was my first time. I was like, wow, imagine if I actually know what I'm doing.
Because all of a sudden, that's proper money, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So from there, I think my algorithm on Instagram just started being trading groups, you know, like the guys with the Rolexes and stuff. Yeah.
And you're going, that can't be right.
Yeah. So I fell into this all-girls trading group, paid like a fee every month, and
did you get returns out of that, or was it enough to keep you interested, or was it?
Sometimes, not really. I think I stayed on a demo the whole time I was with them, actually, or I had like I think you open like a small personal account with them, you know.
Right.
I don't think I did any damage during that time, which was good. I don't know.
I love that damage.
Yeah, but like, you know, I was making trades and making like $3, you know. So it was just practice, got all the basics.
When you say you got the basics, because I think it's a really interesting story for everyone out there.
I mean, they had like downloadable, like just PDFs, like so basic, like welcome to Trading View.
Yeah.
Like this is how you draw a line on the chart. This is like where you check for the news.
So was that too basic for you, or did it give you?
No, it was like I needed to start like there. So yeah, like even stuff like this is how you put your stop loss. Like I didn't know how to do any of that. So I learned all that, and that was great. They did do trading signals, and like I said earlier, they were awful. Like, they were really awful. But at the beginning,
and was that all instruments, or just was there a focus?
Yeah, they just looked at every instrument.
That one's a winner today.
And yeah, and they'd sometimes post like 3 trades a day, and what they would do is they'd set like a 50 pip stop loss and like a huge target of like, I don't know, 150 pips. But like 10 pips into it, they'd be like, okay, go to break even now and take your partials. And I'll be like, we haven't actually made any money. And now it's just going to reverse and hit break even, which it did every time. And they're like, that's a winner for today.
I've seen that with far too many, yeah. No,
yeah.
They won't own
but then the next one is a
signal.
loss, and it goes to the full stop loss.
Yeah, and then you're looking at the track record, and it's kind of...
You're like, that's never going to...
I don't remember that happening.
Yeah, but at the beginning, you're like, you're hopeful, and every now and then they throw in a really good winner, and you're like, oh, yeah, cool. But yeah.
That's how, time immemorial, it can be gambling, whatever. People play that scheme of the winners and losers, and if you're in the group that's seen 3 or 4 winners, you're sort of taken in, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, obviously, from that point, you're going to look to do something different, aren't you?
Yeah. There was kind of an uprising in the group, and everyone just really slated them, and everyone left at the same time. So that was cool. And yeah, we stayed in touch, a few of the girls, but they'd already recommended, I'd started reading about like prop firms and like different demo accounts and stuff, and they recommended Alpha.
Was there a reason why they recommended them?
I'm not sure. I'm sure at the time they said you guys were kind of new to the prop scene.
Right.
I don't know.
And what have you found with Alpha since you joined?
Great. Yeah. I mean, they're the only company I've used, and at first it was demos, and then blew a few accounts. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
But no, like it's always been super easy to use, super helpful. Any questions? Yeah.
Yeah, are we helping you learn as you go along?
I think so, yeah. Like, when you're involved in, like, the Discord chat and you see everyone's ideas, and I can be so influenced in trading, which is what I was at the beginning, and you'd be like, oh, that person's smashing it on gold.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go down that route. And then you're like, what am I doing? And I did that for so long. So now I actually cut out all the noise. Like, I don't care what you've made on gold today. Like, I don't even look at that chart. Like,
and this is the problem. You see far too many successful YouTubers.
Yeah.
And you can't. They're fighting each other to verify what they've done. And
yeah.
Then you hear almost, oh, they're influencers and blah blah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's got to be. You've got to own it.
Yeah. And I think that was the time. Like, cutting out all the noise. I think, like, taking all the information at the beginning. Decide what you're going to do, like what instrument you're going to trade, and then cut out all noise.
Yeah.
Like, don't be influenced by anything. Like,
yeah, when you're on part of my chat, aren't you? And we've got people on there, and it's just...
It's cool to see what people are doing, especially on your chat. And it's like, oh, yeah, really, really great, really interesting. But I'm still not going to open up that chart. And,
no, sure.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And I want it there for people to get a wide range of ideas, see the bits of it that work, and if you can use that in your own day,
yeah,
it's not,
exactly.
Not in any way, is it?
Just some little, like, snippets of wisdom. Like, someone, I don't know if you saw, I really struggle. I noticed Vivi said this, that she struggles with buying rather than selling. And I am the same. And I don't know why.
I remember you coming on that day, and this was
and
really
someone
funny.
inverted, said to invert the chart, and it has been a game changer.
It might be in Shiva, something like that. But this was really, really interesting idea for the psychology of things. I found it strange because, to me, in my experience of markets, teaching people to shorting is the hardest thing to do.
Really?
So we've actually got a number, and it seems so far there seems to be a bias towards ladies as well, prefer fading the market, shorting it, and they decided to turn the chart upside down, which sounds absolutely ridiculous, but
it
turn
really,
the buy into
really
a sell.
works. Yeah. I don't know.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's all I do. You just have to remember to
turn it back.
It back every now and then. You're like, but no, it works for me. And yeah, I really enjoy being part of, like, trading is it's a lonely thing, isn't it? You're literally every day, it's just you, your laptop, your phone.
And yet, just like anything else in life, you want a little bit of confirmation that you're going the right way.
Exactly.
But you don't want someone dictating.
Imagine if we didn't have, like, the Discord or anything, and we all just went about our...
That's what it used to be like.
Yeah.
And then you're then relying on the news channels, and they've got... But I don't know if you ever watch the news channels, but on any particular day, if it's a blue day, they get all the bulls on, and if it's a red day, everyone's bearish, and it's like, well, that's no good to anyone. You need a bit of both on each day.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to do it from, as you know, from back data, and from by the time the news is out and they're talking about it, it's too late.
It's too late. Yeah.
So that's interesting. And we'll come back to what you trade and how you do it. Rewind a bit more. So what's your background? And we're here in St Ives. Mm-hmm. Is the family being in finance, or you anyone? You tell me what your story is.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in this area. Went to school here, and then as soon as I finished school, I wanted to get out of here.
Right.
Always wanted to travel. So I think I was 20. I booked a one-way ticket to Ibiza. and I stayed...
Is there a phone machine here?
Oh, my gosh. I stayed there all summer. I lived in San Antonio. I don't know if you know.
Right.
Yes. I worked on the West End, and I lived with about 15 girls in a 3-bedroom apartment.
How come you're back? What's going on?
For my sanity. And it was amazing. It was the greatest summer ever. And then I came back, made some more funds, worked on a bar for a bit. And then a group of friends, they were like, we're going to move to the Alps. Let's go to the Alps for a season. I was like, yep, I'm in. I've never snowboarded. I don't know how to ski. Right. I'm in. Like,
Throw yourself in.
Yeah, I know.
It seems to be a popular trait here.
Common trait. Just throw myself in. So we went to Chamonix in France. I think I broke 2 ribs the first season.
Back to Ibiza.
And it was not even on the slopes. I was carrying my board to the bus stop. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So I didn't snowboard at all that whole season, but I got a very cool job in a very cool bar, and they really looked after me. And I ended up turning that season into 3 years.
So that's where you get the impetus to do this.
Yeah, and we always got, so it's like inter seasons between the summer and the winter. We got 2-3 months off in between, and we could travel. And somewhere along the way, I come back to St Ives to visit, and Joey, my husband now, has been my friend for a very long time. We ended up getting together finally.
Brilliant.
And he quit his job and everything and flew straight out to meet me in Berlin.
Superb.
And we've just been together ever since. And we ended up moving back to Ibiza, and we did another season there.
Then did you concoct an idea to own a bar one day then?
Well, it was kind of, like, then we were like mid-20s, and it was definitely something we wanted to do, but we weren't ready for it then.
Right.
We just, more fun. Went to California for a few months, did some working on some farms there.
You've been around the social scene. You're Miss Hospitality.
Yeah. And then, then we ended up coming back. My mum got ill and she's all good now, but that's why we ended up moving back to St Ives. And we both got jobs because we'd been there a couple of months and we're like, oh, we've got to work. Fine. Like, we got an apartment and we only had one bag each of belongings because we've been backpacking for so long. Unpacked in this apartment and got these jobs. I managed a restaurant and Joey worked for the same company but in another venue. Right. Local. And I hated it. Like, hated it so much. Like, the UK sucks. It sucks the fun out of hospitality. Like, it just, and when you've worked in bars and restaurants in Spain and France, it's so fun. Yeah. And it's actually classed as like a really good career over there.
It's like, I remember being in Florence in a shop.
Yeah.
Where it's actually Prada. We're in Prada. There was absolutely no chance I couldn't even fit on a pair of trousers on one leg, but my wife wanted to see it. And we had this girl who came up to talk to us, and there was a German person there and a French person, and she was telling jokes in all 3 languages, and it was like just absolutely loving it, and you could tell. Yeah. I got that whole impression then that the continent is welcoming. It's a job, isn't it? Serving people in a retail environment is
just very fun, and better money over there and everything. But so we hated our jobs here instantly. It's just long hours for the worst pay and no fun. Yeah.
So unbeknown to you, this is all building for a trading career.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this was our local before we took it on.
Right.
And we were sat in the garden.
And you're right at the end of what do you describe that road outside it's the side of the River Ouse, the banks of the River Ouse.
Yes,
right
on the banks of the River Ouse. And someone said to us, someone local was like, they're giving up this pub, the landlord. They need new tenants. You guys should do it. Like, you could do front of house, and my husband's a chef. And so we drank 3 bottles of wine.
To make your mind up.
And filled in an application. And the next day they came back and said, yes, we want to interview
Pips and Pinot then, this is what this
is. And it worked. And then a few months later we were in. So that's how we ended up here.
So when I first heard about you trading and that you were a landlady and you've got a lovely little daughter as well, haven't you?
Yes, 1-year-old Freya.
I'm thinking, wow, this girl is what a juggler. Like, we've got to speak to.
It's mad.
Got to speak to Gemma, but I'd looked across and it came up. The first thing on the search was that you'd won this Muddy Stiletto award.
Yeah.
So my wife said, that's really good.
Yeah, it's really good. I was really pleased with that.
Because you said you bought the pub and it was an old man's pub, was it?
It was a proper old man's pub. We had a big refurb, kind of during lockdown, and then reopened, and it was booming. Yeah, great. Completely changed it around. Like, they never did food here, so we did that, and yes, it's been a journey, but it's been really good.
Right. And what is the Muddy Stiletto then?
It's just the Muddy Stilettos. There's multiple awards. So like best art shop, best florist, like best hairdressers, best destination pub. And I think they do it once a year, and people nominate you in like, say, I don't know if we want it for Cambridgeshire, if we were in it for Cambridgeshire.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we still are, I think, just about.
And they...
I've been over about 3 borders today.
And people nominate you to get into the knockout round. And then I think they come around and judge, like, and that's how we won it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, really good.
And that was, what year was that, 22?
I think it was 22, yeah.
Okay,
so
so
that was probably our best year. We'd come out of lockdown.
So what's happened since then? And because like we get the sense that we talk about it in the trading world of we're in recession and people are struggling with interest rates and energy bills 100%. And all that sort of stuff.
I mean, after COVID, we had a real nice boom. It was such a good year.
Yeah.
Like, this place was packed every single night. And probably in about the last year, it's really started to decline. I think since everyone started worrying about money, it seems to be the topic in the bar every single day. And our bills increased massively. Like, every single cost involved in this business tripled. Like, overnight, it felt like.
Yeah.
And then obviously that affects people, our customers. Their bills have tripled. So what's the first thing to go? Like the extra meal in a pub, like once a week.
Yeah.
And it's had a massive knock-on effect. I mean, I think, I sat down with the accountant the other day and I think we're down, I'd say 30% on last year, month to month. Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah. And then, so we're down that, but all our bills have tripled. So it's just very, very hard to, make ends meet. We've just decided to shut our kitchen after this week because we just financially cannot make it work. Like, the cost of all the produce, the staff, and if we're not getting the footfall,
no, and that's affecting.
And it's barely breaking even.
How many people do you employ?
About 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a real shame, and it's like the hardest thing ever we had to do. We've had to let most of them people go, but we have to do that to kind of survive. But I don't see us being here much longer.
Right. What a shame after all you
I know, it is a shame. Like, if you'd have asked me 2 years ago, we thought we were going to be here forever. Yeah. But that's kind of like how my whole life has gone.
So that fast forwards me back then. So all that's happened, and that's right in the middle of that, you started doing this trading thing on the side.
Yeah. So I was actually recovering from major surgery, and I had some time and got into it then, and I was messing around on demos. But then it's like back into the business, and I dropped it, and then it kept going like that, and then I was pregnant.
Because this again, it totally switched me on to speaking to you, because I thought, how on earth are you managing this?
Yeah.
It's a hard enough thing to keep up when you've got free time, never mind.
And that's the thing. And because I've always enjoyed it, and I've always come back to it, and because of how busy I was and how successful the pub was being, there was no urgency for it to be successful for me in trading almost. I kind of needed some pressure to be applied.
Bit of focus, yeah.
But so for the last year, since we've been struggling a bit at the pub, and now that we're thinking we're going to get out of the pub, I'm like, this is actually an opportunity for me to real knuckle down and make this into my living.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do hospitality anymore. My husband does, so he can have that project and I can do this.
Well, that'd be a great balance, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you just give me like an idea of a typical day? Because if you've got a 1-year-old and you've got the pub,
I know.
I've got these images and I know what you're trading and tell us all in a minute. It's like I'm thinking, she must be apart half the night, and maybe that's because the baby's not sleeping or whatever. But
it was the case. The baby, she would get up in the night, and that went on for about 8 months. And I was trading sometimes at 3, 4 in the morning, because she like just sitting outside her bedroom door waiting for her to settle, trading JPY. And
so UJ,
yes,
I like
UJ.
US dollar, Japanese yen.
But now
do you just do the UJ? Or
just UJ, right, okay. Yeah. Finally, I've settled on one thing.
Which, for anyone out there, if you look at it, I love it. I love the fundamentals, the technicals of it, but it's not the most likely thing that you'd want to trade.
No, it's not popular.
I don't come across that many people.
I don't see it. Even like the amount of people on our chats. Like, I rarely see someone share that they're trading UJ.
I know, and yeah, it's been, excuse me, it's been an absolutely brilliant year for it. And it's one of those classics, because you've got intervention, which doesn't happen that often, and that creates all sorts of issues. And you've got this obviously tied in with the US dollar, and it's always had a very sort of tricky central bank. They always like to come up with surprises. So it's a brilliant thing to look at.
There's a lot of movement on it every day.
Yeah.
Like, especially like I trade on a very small time frame. I look on a 4 1-hour time frame, but then I go down to 3 minutes to actually do my trades because I just want to be in and out.
Right.
Like over the years, I've tried to become this like disciplined
This guru
swing trader, but it's just not me. Like,
this is the key. It's
and
like
I think you
don't
can't
force yourself
fight
into...
your personality, right? Which was what I was trying to do in trading for so long. I was like, thought I could be a set and forget kind of girl, but it's not possible for me. Like, and it infuriates me. Like, if you set a trade and you're in it for like 3 days, you pay all the swap fees, and then it just buggers off the different, like, another way. You made 1%. Like,
Yeah,
I can't handle that. Like, I can't.
It'd be interesting how you develop, because a lot of people are like that in their early years, and then over time, and the fact that you're already in something that is, you know, got a lot of fundamentals to it, you might find yourself changing, but do not until you feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the key.
So I think it started to work for me since I stopped fighting it. I'm like, okay, I'm someone that likes to see quick movement, in and out. Like, I don't hold my trades long. Like,
this is brilliant, because I a lot of my time I do risk reviews with people and having to try and get them to work out who they are. You're coming the other way around. You'll be a perfect client. And like, in fact, you know, just still don't. It's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why I tried to fight it for so long, but yeah, now I've relaxed into it and worked out that time frame works for me. That pair works for me.
And just talking about risk, what's your attitude to risk?
I'm a risk taker.
Yeah, I've got that impression in the background.
Yeah, I'm an all-in girl. Like, we were speaking earlier how you like fade into your trades and stuff, but for me,
You're
I'm
thinking,
just...
I've never done that.
I've never done that. No, I never take partials. I move my stop loss in immediately. As soon as I'm up, not even 1%, I move my stop loss into profit and just trail it up. Okay. And I keep trailing it up until I get taken out, until it reverses. Like, I don't even set a TP anymore, because you're always just like, you're clinging on to the hope of the...
I can see that.
For me, I like that was the problem. And then I would be blindsided when I could see that it was actually reversing. But I'd be like, oh no, but my TP is there. It's got to get there. And I'd be like, oh, this is just a pullback, but it's actually reversing and it's going to hit break even.
We were talking about that on a chat yesterday, weren't we, about people struggling to realise when it's actually going the other way.
Yeah, yeah. And because you just refuse to see it, because if your bias is bullish and it reverses, you're just like, no, absolutely not.
If you've got a stop loss, if you're disciplined enough to like let that run out, you obviously want to play around with it a bit more. The revenge trade comes in when you think you've got this bias that you're right. I say to people,
I was the worst.
Would you take that trade now?
Yeah.
Based on your, and they don't take long enough to think. They just want, I was definitely right. Well, you might not be, because things have changed.
Yeah, 100. That was my biggest weakness, because I am quite impulsive and I am all in. The revenge trading was what was definitely killing my accounts, and refusing to believe that I was wrong. Like, and I could not see it. But now, and I actually had a wow moment the other day. I got in a trade, and it broken out of like a wedge pattern. I was like, brilliant. And it was a fake out, but I got in, and then I could see it. I was like, this is a fake out. So I just got out and then found my position for the other way. I was like, cool. Like, a year ago, I would have been like, no, holding it. Oh, blew my account.
It's such a mature way of trading.
I just think, price is going to do what it's going to do. Like, you've just got to go with it, haven't you? Like, my chart is completely naked. Like, I don't have anything on the chart. At most, I like...
So you like looking at price action?
Yeah, that's it. I just have... so I used to use you use so many indicators and so many different things, and it just really messed with my psychology, having too much on the chart. And because you're just so like, well, yeah, it will go there, and I'm only going to enter if it will go there, and it never goes, and then you force a trade. It just didn't work for me. So now I think I have a couple of EMAs on there, and I draw some lines in and that's it. Yeah.
Backfill the lines. And I often think that people have got these great setups and then they miss an entry point.
Yeah.
Like, which is why I was talking to you earlier about, in the real world, you'd probably put a partial in there if we decided that was the trade we're looking for.
Yeah.
The entry hasn't got to be super precise. You can then manage the trade, and professionally you'd be managing a trade, and I'd say you'd be going in and out.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's too much. I think there's too much teaching in where we're in it. It's encouraging to do this, which I'd never heard really until I came into this full port thing, which
oh my gosh.
you say you send you bonkers, doesn't it?
To be fair, I am guilty of doing that once. I was a 9.5% drawdown and I passed, I think, with one trade.
The get out of jail free card.
Yeah. But then, yeah, I guess if you're at 9.5%, whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
But we said you're a risk taker. And how about psychologically then? If you lose, how do you feel when you're losing?
I used to hate it. Like, I used to hate it. And I always had this thing where I got in a really bad pattern of every challenge I would start, I would instantly start in drawdown. I don't know what it was, but my psychology was just so messed up at the beginning. And I'd always get myself into like 3-4% drawdown straight away. And then it's so hard, isn't it, to get out.
You've got to really trust you.
Like, if you don't have the first trade, if that first trade isn't a win when you're in a challenge, I think it's really, really tough. But now, I don't care. Yeah, I just don't. I've really just had it's probably the last 2 months, I just have zero emotion. Like, zero emotion.
This is a common trait. I've not actually, I can't remember from, we've got Riz's podcast, and so he's talking to Jack Schwager from the Market Wizards, and someone was asking me what I got out of that book the other day, and it's like, there's a real common trait of how people get rid of, they get to a stage where they don't mind losing because they trust the state. And I read something I went back to an old trading book a few months ago, and I can't remember the terminology. There's a chemical and there's a part of the brain.
I saw you write that comment. It's interesting.
And they're like the serial, that's almost like a serial killer idea as well as being winning. the people that they can just close it off. Yeah. It doesn't, and it's a dangerous position to be in because you're not worried about hurting yourself and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But that is what you get to say, and that's why when you talk to people about how you should be looking at your positions, it's like stop loss. Yeah. And the amount you're risking, you should be indifferent whichever way it goes. Yeah. But if you can get there just doing that naturally from yourself, that's just an amazing skill to develop. Yeah.
I probably only noticed it a couple of months ago. I was like, I just had 2 losses. I don't really care, and I'm just going to finish today. Like, it's fine. I do push it a bit every day. I have worked on that because I used to literally push it to 4.5% drawdown in a day and then be like,
wait for tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, but now I won't go more than 2% loss in a day, and I think that's really helped. But as well, for me, the losses, because I trade with such a tight stop loss, it's like 5 pips, 7 pips most. It's so easy to make back. Like, it's a big RR, so it's easy to make it back.
Well, this is the thing. There's more than one way of winning. Yeah. But if you as long as you understand that your tight stop loss, you're going to have those hits, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah.
And just keep the stop loss though. Like, don't let it keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Just I can do another 5 pips.
Another 5 pips will be fine. Yeah.
Before you know it, you're in a mess. But like I say, you can either be around that 50-50 mark and you're tweaking it, or you can be 20-30% win rate with a big RR if that's your game. But you've got to understand your game. You can't be mix and matching strategies.
No, you've got to stick to one thing.
So I first came across you on my chat whether it's because you'd suddenly seen something someone had said, or you're in the midst of this passing phase 1 and you've gone on a great run, haven't you? And I've said to people, push the wins, and I think you can probably tell us how it went for you, but you've had an amazing...
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, I blew an account after my last payout. And now I'm up to 200k, which is great. And yeah, it's just been with just you, Jay, for the challenge, and now that's all I will trade. But yeah, I feel good this time. I feel like I can keep this one.
Yeah, I mean, we know you're about to have a proper payment. Something that is, and in the context of how you've set us up with how the pub's going and stuff, it's
life-changing.
It's definitely life-changing. And which is the reason we're doing these kind of events, interviews. You're a poster child for me for what this is all about. It's like...
It's mind-blowing, like how, like the potential when you trade. Like there is no limit, which I like. Like I like to push limits, and I like that there is no limits with trading. Like you can literally grow your account up to 2 million. Like that's mad.
Absolutely crazy, isn't it?
Like,
I know.
That's mad. Like,
which is,
has anyone done that?
Well, you see that there are people out there that have.
Yeah.
And obviously, we have our own 400 limit, but there are people with...
But like scaling
is difficult, as you know, because there's the potential. No one's, as far as I know, we've not been doing it long enough probably for them to get there. It's only been around 3 years.
Yeah.
But you'd need to have 10 scales to double your money, basically, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Which is hard to time that.
It's really
to be
hard.
every month.
Yeah.
But that in itself is good. Or you can get another challenge and
yeah, I think I will get another one with this payout and make it
and if you
300
get it serious,
together.
You're in the industry then, aren't you? And
yeah, I mean, the bigger it is, the easier it is, the less you have to trade, isn't
it's key. I mean, to a certain extent, the way you trade would suit bigger accounts because you're only nibbling your exposure, aren't you?
Yeah, I deal better with bigger numbers. Like I've tried, like
high maintenance.
Yeah, I like money. But yeah, for me, it's like trading on like the 20k challenge or whatever. I was just like, I can't. It's not satisfying.
Does it mean anything?
I'm like,
it's good though because sometimes that works in reverse. If you're on a bad run, I think there's a lot of people out there that do this.
Yeah,
it's just a way of resetting. Because you suddenly, if you're on a run of losing big numbers, that affects your psychology and
100%.
It's So, what about your peer group and your family? Does anyone else trade, or do anyone frown? Have had any? So I've had all sorts of people on. They've had to hide it from their parents, and they've been thrown out. Because all different cultures.
Yeah,
take it
of course. No, I mean, I first mentioned it when I begun. I think because I was staying with my parents while I recovered from surgery because I didn't want to recover in the pub.
Yeah,
and I was always on the laptop. Then
there's a few fruit-based cocktails.
What are you doing? And I'm, I don't know. I'm just trying to learn how to trade. And Mum's like, she's like, okay. She didn't understand. And I actually asked when you sent that message. I actually asked Mum and Dad. I said, what did you think? What do you think? Mum's like, I don't understand what you're doing.
Which I think is most parents probably.
She's like, I think it's great if you know what you're doing, but you've told me a million times and I still don't understand.
And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to put that much money up, do you?
No, no, exactly.
Even for a 200k account.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play, and as Danny Chung at the weekend had said on, I think, respect money. His problem was not respecting it. Yeah. It is, if you do one of those, it's $1,000 or might be a discount. That is proper money. But if you are in these smaller accounts, it's a few £100s.
Throwaway, isn't it?
And that's the danger, isn't it?
That's what I feel. I'm like, with a 200k account, I'm like, okay, this is big money. I've had to put my money in, like 600 quid, whatever it was.
But it's just on the cusp, isn't it?
It just makes it a bit more like,
This is serious.
It's serious,
but
I need to
gearing from
look after this.
The upside from that is...
Yeah, the potential is crazy. And my dad's opinion was...
Does he know what you've made or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no. So I watched the football with him last Sunday, and it was the first week on trading with that, and I just hit 20,200, which was my goal because I want to scale.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him, and I said, "This is the deal. I can scale now." And he was like, very serious. He was like, "Do not make another trade."
Step away. Step away from the machine.
He was like, "Gem, that is a lot of money. Do not fuck that up."
Yeah,
sorry.
Absolutely.
And of course, I didn't listen to him because I never have in my whole life. And I went and made some more trades. And to be fair, I did go back. I went down to 18 and then I managed to pull it back. And then once I had a little buffer, I was like, I'll keep messing around. And I did get it up to about 28.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
But he said, yeah, as long as it's not illegal.
It's certainly not illegal.
Yeah, and I said, no, it's all good.
I don't know whether the cameras can see, but the real signal maker is here, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
Wilson.
we've got Wilson.
Go and sit
There he
up.
is.
Here you go.
It's a bit. I'm thinking he's a bit. Do you ever remember Paul the Octopus?
No.
From years ago in the World Cup, these guys in Germany had an octopus, and they put a thing on the bottom of the water tank, and what would be the two names of the teams.
Wow.
And he got 8 in a row of picking the winners for the matches.
Whoa.
So he became this famous octopus. We've got to get Wilson doing that.
Yeah. He's our little football mascot.
And how's that been with the football? I mean, you said things have been, that must be a little bit of a lift up,
I mean,
is it?
No. Like, the first few games, we were really quiet. I think it was literally me and my dad here.
Right.
Like, we've got a couple of big pubs in the area that can seat, one of them seats 400 people outside, and he's got like 7 screens. Like, everyone goes there. It's a riot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the timings for the games have not been great.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock on a Sunday, like, is a risky time to go to the pub, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not coming home early, are you?
So yeah, it's just been me and my dad sat at this table, actually, having a lovely time. But yesterday was packed out. Now
Brilliant.
it's like up to this.
That's more like it.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a good fun. And I guess a lot of people didn't go to work today.
Yes.
Yeah.
We kind of thought, which day should we do? And it'll be quiet today.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got big plans for Sunday?
So Sunday is actually the last day of our food. And we put an announcement on social media, and within half an hour we had 90 people book for a roast, which was very cool. So
how it should be.
So we've got about 100 people booked for a roast, so we'll do that. I've got a table for 15 of us for a roast at 5.
Brilliant.
And then we will watch the football. I've booked out this area for us to watch the football after. Yeah, it's good. I've got a child-free weekend as well because
that again helps.
Yeah,
it's just a tag, right? No distractions.
I know. Yeah. So yeah, it should be good. Can we do it this time? I don't know.
It's like, please, Gareth, be positive.
I know.
Please, looking back when this.
I don't know who to cheer either. As Spain is where we're thinking of
right,
moving.
We didn't talk about that, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
So plans ahead and ambitions, and obviously you said you want to go down the trading route. Obviously, there's we've actually got a Spanish group in.
I know. I saw. So, I need to learn Spanish.
That's right.
Yeah, I think our next move will be Spain. We love Ibiza, like, so much more than just a party island, and we actually want to settle there at some point.
Island, isn't it? People don't realise how lovely it is.
But our plan is to buy an RV.
Oh, excellent.
Yep.
You like doing things out there.
Want to buy a big RV, but live in Spain for the summer. Run a restaurant in Spain for the summer, and then travel the rest of the year. Yeah, that's the plan.
Don't let my wife see this.
Need to get a big Wi-Fi satellite on top of it so I can trade on the go.
I know, absolutely brilliant.
It's perfect.
That's what it's all about.
I think so. Like, trading is just like, that's why I love it. It offers 100% freedom. You don't have to answer to anyone apart from your alpha rules, a few rules, and then you get paid. Like,
talking of that, because there's obviously a lot of chatter. Are there positive things on alpha, negative things? What is there anything that holds you back? Are you happy with the news rule? Everyone seems to have a view on that.
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the news thing, but I guess it's just we can't trade the whole time this red news speech.
That's right. Yeah.
Is that right?
Even I found that out this week.
Yeah.
I was going like, well, you've got some.
There's so many people contradicting themselves on the chat, and you're like, well, what actually?
Because I'm a fundamentalist, I'm going like, well, that orange one is more important than that red one.
Yes.
So it's like, make your mind up. But if it's just red speeches, then at least you know where you are.
But for me, that rule doesn't bother me because I've tried to trade the news once. I lost an account because of it, and never ever again. Like, I don't understand anything going on in the news world. And I'm not going to pretend to try and understand. So I just avoid it. Like,
so it shows you that we talked about this before, that you can technically trade. You don't have to know fundamentals. It helps you become a fuller, and maybe in time you'll have time to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really interesting. And like, when I look at all the smart people in your chat speaking, I'm like, wow, these people are so smart. I'm literally just looking at price action.
And now you're sat there with a win, and we're all going, have we just got stopped out again?
Yeah. But no, I just avoid news at all costs. Luckily, like London Open, there's never US news. So,
I mean, like I say, if you're in that overnight space, then kind of.
Mostly, I trade now like 7, 8 a.m. in the morning. And then potentially New York Open I like as well. So always seems to be a nice pullback and I get in there again.
Lots of dollar news, because obviously UJ is so dollar dominant, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, that's...
How do you find the trading world? Because traditionally it's been very male dominated and the retail, to me, seems to have a lot of male ego in it. How are you coping with all that?
Yeah, I don't know. If it wasn't for finding your little chat, I would say nothing on Discord, if I'm honest.
Right.
Like I talked to one girl that I've always spoke to the whole trading, like on a private message every day. But if it wasn't for your chat, I would not say anything. Like I've said a few questions or posted a few things before, and you almost I've almost been like mocked or just like...
I know,
just
dismissed,
if it's online,
and it's just like shut that down because it's just so much ego, and they're not even having a smart conversation, or they're just bragging. Yeah,
but it's like
it's the ego, isn't it?
It's like, great, yeah, you got your payout, but then they disappear, and you're like, they blew their account.
That's right.
No,
it's a classic trait, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's what I'm enjoying. My chat having a good mixture of male and female in it, because I was saying to people today, like the women control it, they own it. They don't mind saying when they've lost. It's all on it. It's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
and a message for young guys out there, because I'm, Mr. Fossil, text, all that. I've come through with tech. We had IB chats at investment banks. We were the first to do it, so I was used to doing that. But the social media side of things, you got to behave, guys. I mean, just because a woman's on there and she finishes a sentence with a kiss or a heart more often than you, it doesn't mean she's in love with you.
No.
It means that she's been... I mean, you tell me... Tell them what the female perspective is on chatting on things.
Yeah. I mean, I was telling you earlier, I ended up in I think it was like 5 a.m. So I posted something in the chat room and I kind of started a discussion with someone. And then this guy just kind of started almost like hitting on me. And then he asked how old I was. And I think I'd already said I have a baby as well. And then he started hitting on me. But I was like... and he was like, no, you can't have a baby. How old are you? I said 32. And he was like, oh. And then some other guy chirped up saying he really wanted you to be 22. I was like, I'm not going to post in this chat.
No, so this kind of thing it's got to be a safe environment. It's got to be somewhere.
I just think the chats are like, it's a new generation, isn't it? Yeah. Like everyone's on their phone all the time, and it's like, I think all these prop firms, their chats are dominated by probably 21-year-olds, like male 21-year-olds, like who have so much to say, like,
and then nothing. But which is why we said on the chat, no one wants to put a funnier comment up than me, but it's got to be context and nice and give everyone a say. It's kind of
100%.
Always stop shutting it down.
It's there. No one's having a conversation. They're just
it's like, what can I say? That is crazy. So. Thanks for hosting us today.
So welcome.
It's absolutely wonderful to come and see your world, and it's such a shame that it's changing, but by the sound of it...
You have to come to Spain next time.
I know, you're right. This trip to Ibiza, I think my wife would love that.
Make that happen. That could be the next alpha meeting.
But this is it. And by then you'll be trading all sorts. Will you ever trade gold?
No. I've tried. I do not understand it. No.
But, but I hope everyone's getting this across, and you've seen lots of videos in this space and with me. Lots of people have either gone through blowing accounts, finding their way. Gemma here is adamant. She's got a system. She's got a style. She sticks to it. And that is a more important message than anything. And if you find an exotic instruments trade like you, Jay, even better, because you'll be doing something like this. Yeah. And by the sound of it, you'll be making a lot of money. So thanks for having us in your world today.
Thank you.
Absolutely potentially the last Pips and Pints. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks very much.